are we podcasting?
Now we're
podcasting.
You can watch this podcast on
sure
the YouTube. You can listen to it wherever podcasts are listened to.
And please do, because please rate, review, and subscribe this sucker if you would. That would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Also, follow us on our damn Instagram because we got a goal. We're trying to reach 500,000.
All you have to do is click follow.
You just click
okay?
follow. I don't think we're super obnoxious. We don't overpost.
Hide
We
us
don't
if you need
overpost.
to. Yeah, that's true.
If anything, they're like, are these ladies?
I think people follow us and they're like, they must be moms.
Yeah,
they're
silent
busy.
for 4 days.
Yeah.
And every time we see Kristin in the background, she's stressed. That feels fair.
Boy, I am all about the stress, right? Well, I'm excited because there's so many exciting things going on right now.
Yes, we are
next week. Listen next week because we got big news.
Big news
Fun
next
news
week.
for
Fun
you.
news. It has to do with a particular live show and
with some really funny hot ladies.
And we're talking about ourselves in third person. That's something
we
my mother
might
does.
be going back on Urte.
That is
this say.
That is I don't even know if we're allowed to say the word pig Latin anymore. As I started to say it, I got nervous because I feel like I'm
they know us. It's not their first time listening to us.
So we're going on tour. Again, we're very excited. We're going to announce the cities. We're going to announce how you can get tickets early.
Yep.
We're not even supposed to be saying it right now. But
we're not, but we can't wait.
No one's in here to guide us.
But they are going to be in a second, you guys.
Yes. We have our first guest ever.
First guest ever. And we have to kind of, we have so much to say because we love this
We have so much to say. Let's wait to introduce her. Should I go into?
Yeah, you were going to tell me something.
Okay.
Kristin came in today like giggling, and I'm like, save it for the podcast. But unless it's super embarrassing,
I don't know about y'all as parents. We haven't even. This is another conversation for another show. But neither of our kids, my son who will be 12 tomorrow,
I can't believe this,
and my daughter who is almost 10, neither one has a phone. We barely allow iPads. That is just who we are as people. Life is also very busy. So they don't get a lot of iPad time unless it's the weekends. And then I'm fine with it. So I felt or thought because of that, I had a good idea of what was going on with my kids.
Uh-oh.
But
I'm so scared right now.
My daughter, Eleanor, who is very good friends with Jen's son, Dashiell, and Finn they're all very good friends. They're all super buddies. Comes in and she goes, well, I've decided to sign on as Dashiell's therapist.
Wait, what?
And then she proceeds to say, I'm actually excited about it. I think it's going to be a really good side hustle.
What?
So
what?
Evidently.
Okay.
Evidently.
First of all, what does he have to talk about that? It's always the mother. They always blame the mother. What?
It's not. It's actually my son. But this is what happened. So
shit.
I have to set the stage. Dashiell McAdams is, you guys probably do not know Jen's husband as much as you know Jen. But when I say this person is a cookie cutter of his father, it is unbelievable. The mannerisms, the way he talks.
They look identical.
They look identical. They lay on couches in an identical way. They're loungy, lofty people.
My husband will confidently lay down and eat nachos in front of company.
And his literal spread on that couch is fantastic. He's always wearing funny tennis shoes.
God, I'm so scared.
Dashiell, we've talked about this before. Dashiell will FaceTime and I'll be like, Dashiell, you got to put a shirt on. I know your mom's not going to be happy about that.
He knows he's supposed to wear clothes.
And he's so funny. He's so funny. He's naturally funny. He's super subtle. He's like Finn's like banana, and Dashiell's like slow and and so they all get along really well. So evidently there was a creative meeting about a script that's being written.
Oh yeah.
And Finn, he is my husband. In a lot of ways, he's a yes guy. He's like, yeah, okay, yeah, let's do it. And then he wants to do it. So evidently, Dashiell had this really great idea, and Finn is off to the races. He's
Hold on. Is it called Chair?
I don't know.
That's his current script he's working on right now.
All I know is that Dashiell was really feeling the pressure of Finn Sweeney coming on, telling him to hustle, telling him to get it done.
Well, he needs that. He's got to have a good producer on the project.
Yeah, so
right?
Finn's like, hey, man, I need you to turn in pages. I got to I got
Also,
I have
these
a
are our
pitch
mini
meeting.
me's.
These
just
are our
saying.
mini me's. I got a pitch meeting tomorrow. I got nothing to show. Like you got the idea. So Finn is like, so Dashiell's feeling very stressed. So Dashiell evidently FaceTimed Eleanor and was like, "Can I talk to you for a second?" And Eleanor's like,
Where was
I don't
Where
know
was I? I don't know when this happened.
Dude,
He's supposed to ask before he FaceTimes.
nobody's asking anything. Evidently, with the same rule. So Eleanor's like, so we jumped on a call. I'm like, when? When? So evidently they had a therapy session and Eleanor she is burying the lead. She's telling me about this therapy session, also honoring his privacy, but saying like, Dashiell's just feeling a lot of pressure. I think that Finn can frustrate him. And I understand that because I'm Finn's sister. So I talk him through and I'm like, what is happening? They are living their lives.
Okay.
We are just
We're out of the
bouncers.
picture. Yeah. Okay. So let me understand this.
Okay.
So he and Finn had a combo which he stressed him out.
Stress him out.
So then
Does that sound?
he calls his girl Eleanor to be like, help me with this situation.
I think Eleanor had heard either a conversation or a FaceTime where they were trying to unpack details of this non-existent but potentially existent meeting that they would have about the script that has not seen the light of day. Dashiell is really holding on to it.
He really likes the business part of things. He's a real planner.
Finn is off to the races. I think Finn's got crafty
like,
coming
let's shoot
tomorrow.
this.
Let's shoot it.
There's
that's
always
me. I'm fast.
You know what? There's always that one person on a project where you're like, whoa. We don't even have money for this yet.
Yeah, but if they didn't exist, we wouldn't do anything.
True. Yeah,
it's
you
like
gotta,
the fact that Finn is like, Finn will come to me and be like, Mom, Dashiell's at it again. He's got like really good ideas. So we're going to do this idea. I was like, okay, but you got to like give him a second. Like you're coming on strong. He's like, well, how do you think it's going to get done? If we just talk about it, then nothing gets done. And I'm
if I may enter my 2 cents into the equation, I see him jacking around a lot. You know, he could really be spending more time hitting that paper, and he's not. So he's on doing like Roblox or Minecraft.
He's literally
quite a bit,
a writer in the making because he is literally like, I wrote 6 pages. Now I need to talk about how I feel. So enter Eleanor, who is happy to listen. Yeah. She just wants to make sure he feels. She said, I knew what I needed to say to get him back on track. And I'm like,
oh my God. Let's make this a regular thing though, Dash. Let's just check in, let's say next
That's exactly
Tuesday.
What she said. She said she is his therapist and they are checking in and they are going to talk about feelings so he can feel like he can write the script and not feel. It's all happening. And
I was so worried.
We have no idea.
I got to tell you though,
No.
none of this sounds like my fault, so I'm glad. I mean, it might be me not paying attention, but it's okay.
He's reaching out to do talk therapy. He
Amazing.
is your child.
Totally, yeah. But why doesn't he come to me? You know, I love to talk about feelings. I may have some good. We actually, this is for another podcast,
right.
But we have been having, we're entering the puberty phase.
Oh boy,
God, I don't know if I can ever talk about this. Yeah,
you can.
I'll tell you guys a story about my son Smashel.
You know what I say? I think they'll both be smart enough to go, it was a funny story. Like, it's like, Mom's sharing some stuff, but she does it in a funny, safe way. Like,
I do. I mean,
my son's about to be 12.
I think together these two are going to like run a studio one day because
100%. As long as we like sort of stay out of their way, but also we're your mothers, so we're not going to stay out of your way. Like, don't go inviting executives over to our house without me knowing. Like, I feel like that's next step. So they're going to be like a crew come in with like a gaffer and a DP, and they're going to be like, we're lighting for tomorrow.
Yeah. Wait, for what?
For what?
We're having a shoot here?
I'm sorry. I'm in my underpants.
Permitting.
Yeah, I just came down to get a water bottle. I didn't know.
Okay, also a big concern that I have is a lot of times Dash will just ramble on about like when the first like a pilot episode came out, he's kind of got them memorized for all of his favorite like animations, and he will tell you, like he can tell you, can I tell you something scary?
Yeah.
Gumball was his favorite. That's the show that got him into animation.
Yeah.
you can name a season and an episode number, and he can tell you what the title of it is. Not that he's watching them
what's
like
the
that, but
difference?
he's reading them.
Finn does that with sports stats. All that says to
True,
me is
yeah.
kids are smart.
Yeah, okay.
You know, like that to me is like, I think, and I kind of was like that as a kid. It just came to certain episodes of like, I think I was like obsessed with what a weirdo kid I am. I saw every Murder, She Wrote. I saw every Golden Girls. I saw literally every Night Court because my dad would laugh so hard during it. I would like memorize it.
Yeah.
You know, like I had that kind
I
of thing
wasn't
too.
allowed to watch Night Court because of John Larroquette on there. 'cause
I
he was
know.
so
My
dirty.
dad would laugh the most at him.
Well, he was funny.
Remember, he
It's
would
true.
go, like, he had like invisible ink on his hands and it would later turn red. So
Oh, yes.
everything he touched turned red. And there was a girl with a pencil skirt and she had 2 giant red handprints on her butt.
Yes.
Could never do that today. My dad was like on the floor and I was like,
I know.
I don't know why that's funny, but I'm going to memorize
It was
it.
top tier comedy for
Top
sure.
tier
Well,
comedy.
I used to memorize all the solid gold dancers and had favorites. So, that was weird
You
for my
know what?
parents.
We're all doing our best. All I'm saying is, right when I thought I thought I was an advanced parent for not having a phone and thinking that we were like on top of it.
No, we're not.
I improved.
This is just more indication of why we cannot let these kids have phones. By
Yeah,
the way.
that's going to be a whole podcast on its own because I have 1,000 thoughts on it. But I did think it was worth telling you that my daughter and your son are in therapy together, which makes me think maybe they're going to have love one day. They're going to just be the best of friends.
They're
I
going to
feel
be
like
good
they're
listeners for each other. That's pretty amazing.
fantastic. And I love that she called it a side hustle. It also makes me wonder, like, I go, that Dashiell McAdams, that Dashiell is not to give you $1 for you just listening to him. And I think there was a part of her that was like, I mean, if it's an hourly rate,
It sounds like
I get
maybe what he's
accredited
doing
online.
is get this business set up, and then he takes a percentage on every other person. He's
go,
got a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
You have a pyramid scheme going for
I
counseling.
go, Eleanor, just get back end points on the movie. You know it's going to get made at some point.
I know, but
Like, that's the hardest thing is to see anything get made. The fact that, like, you got one kid hustling and the other kid
it's
writing.
an important part of the project. Is
So-
just and he might have told me that he talked to her, and it just was white noise at some point because he's just talking about numbers and episodes and stuff
I
like
know.
that. And I just nod my head
I
because
thought
I'm like,
you would die knowing that there was a therapy session.
love it so much.
So here's a fun thing that's going to happen today. We have a guest, and we are excited because we did say we asked you ladies, who would you like to see us interview? And by the way, I will take big swings on Instagram. I will message anyone.
Yeah, a lot of the people that you messaged were way out of. They're not realistic, you guys. They're
No, they are.
maybe.
They are.
No?
That's what social media is for. It makes you feel like anything is possible.
This is my new rule about Instagram for all of you that know that Kristin takes an Ambien and then starts messaging people and signing it Jen. I'm okay with her signing it Jen. I don't even care what she says as long as everything's spelled correctly and the grammar, because I don't want people thinking like, wait, this Jen really has a Ambien issue. And she's very ballsy, very ballsy. So it
First
just,
of all, I don't take Ambien anymore because one of those nights got away from me. I'm not going to talk about it. It's going to go to my grave. I woke up and was like, what have you done? Too many big swings. Anyway,
well,
sign them all, Jen. No problem.
that's fine.
So we listened
If
to
it
your...
had 2 N's in it, I won't be so pissed.
I know. And here's the other thing. I can't write anything without readers anymore. And
I know.
just typo.
Yeah.
Not because I'm like high or drunk.
No.
Because I'm blind.
No, you guys, this is not a matter of her not
No,
knowing
it's
the
because
proper
I'm in my
grammar.
40s.
She was an English teacher. This is just, she doesn't believe in readers.
Yeah, I don't. And I can't see anything. So there you go. But you ladies wrote us in and you said, we would want to see you interview one of your friends
Yep.
or a mom or one of you, which is definitely something that we are figuring out. And so we have a friend that's in town who lives in Connecticut, but she was here forever with us.
And she's our glue person, you
She's our
guys.
glue person. She
She was
introduced
our initial
us.
connection, which is crazy.
Yes.
So we were going to kick the old guest can down the road for a long time because we're
Yeah.
nervous and we don't know how to talk to other people. But we were like, you know what? Jenny. We
Yeah.
can talk to Jenny and she's going to be here.
And she's so fun and she's here and we're
She's
going to bring
all
her
the
in.
things. So, okay, Let's bring her in.
Let's bring her in. Well, do we need any setup on? We'll just talk about her when she's here.
Yeah.
We're gonna be so good at this.
Oh my gosh, such pros.
Such pros.
So we're podcasting.
Are we podcasting?
We are podcasting. Okay.
Listen to our voices.
Listen
Jen.
to us
We're
freak out. I know.
We're freaking out.
If you want to know why we're being like completely all right,
Weird.
we have a very special guest. Insert a drum roll here or something, Trey, like a big band sound.
Oh my
or
God.
Can
Jen's
we-
like, I'm gonna show off and be like, hey Trey, can you put in a
What up?
drum sound?
I'm gonna talk to the editor. Sorry while I show off for a second.
We're so excited you're here.
Okay, yay. I wasn't sure when I should talk.
You
Like,
talk whenever. Okay, we don't even know where to start. This is our dear friend.
Yes.
Let's see. We all met when we were
Well, let's not do the math on that.
I think we
Let's,
were 15,
Fi-
and that was like
15.
15 years
Yeah.
ago. So there you go.
15
Yeah.
years ago.
so we're all below 35.
We're
Yes.
all in reality. We were when we met.
Oh, we were
Yeah, for
so
sure.
young,
So
when we met.
We were
yeah.
so young. Now, I remember that so Jenny is important in our story because she introduced Jen and I. We were all friends before, but this Jen, oh,
I don't know
God,
where
the
to start.
70s.
Oh God,
So many Jens.
I know it's true. It was that? Did your parents? Okay, this is Jenny Starn-Stessler.
Hi.
Jenny Starn-Sessler
Hi.
joining
Yeah.
us today.
Wonderful friend, hot lady, funny lady,
Thanks.
mom. She's all the things. That's why we wanted to have her be our first guest.
I'm all the
she's
things.
She's incredibly patient as well.
Yep.
Because we were like, we're gonna really screw this up.
Well,
Who
she's
knows?
here to help us.
You're doing great. You're
Is
doing
it so
great.
far so good?
I
Yes.
think it's good. I think I look nervous.
I sound nervous, right?
It's fine.
Okay,
I sound nervous.
born in the 70s, though.
Yes.
My mom literally picked the name out of the newspaper because it was the number one name, and she
Really?
yeah. My dad and her were fighting so much that they were like,
You're like, keep it easy.
"Great, well, just
Wait, how did you
we'll
get
choose
your
this one.
name, Jenny? Like,
I
was she
honestly-
like, I read an exotic novel and
I have no idea. But you know what? My name is, Jennifer, and my sister is Lynn. And it's like the two most common.
God
I hear,
bless
are you
you.
Jennifer Lynn?
do you? No, I'm Jennifer Christine, but you want to know
Okay,
how
I'm
common
Jennifer
those
Lee.
names are? I had a stepsister named Jennifer Lynn. How weird is that at Thanksgiving, guys? Hold on, that's it. It's a different can of worms, and it's not for this episode. This is
Different can of worms. Different can of worms.
you're Jennifer
I'm Jennifer Lee.
Lee.
oh my
Ooh.
God, you're so Texas.
I'm so Texas.
You're so Jennifer Lee.
And
Yeah.
That's right. And where did you grow up?
San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, Texas. Where'd you go to school?
I mean, wait. Which school? Like elementary?
No,
I
let's
guess.
where'd
start
you go to-
Montessori. Let's go
Like,
way
where'd
back.
you
Where'd you
From the
go to
beginning?
college?
Oh, Baylor.
Baylor.
Oh yeah.
Go
Oh, that's a fun
Baylor.
School. I forgot you
It's a
went
good school.
there. God.
Yeah.
See, this is good that the universe kept us all apart until we were like somewhat smart because we would have partied so stupid. Even harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have made some bigger mistakes.
I went to Baylor so I wouldn't party, but they did still party,
'Cause
so I did.
It's
Yeah.
a Christian school, right?
It's a Christian school.
Yeah, I ended up
was
going
like,
to a
oh.
Christian school because I accidentally got married. That's also for another podcast.
I went
So
to the
it's a-
University of Nebraska and I came out with a lot of sins under my belt. That's fine.
So basically,
fine.
that's what college is for.
Yeah, that's what
partying
college
and
is for.
sins.
But don't tell my daughter that or my son. Just tell them
No, it
you're
is.
there to get an advanced degree and nothing else.
And nothing else.
And then
No
okay,
penny pictures.
We oddly, you know this story, but just for anybody who has never listened ever once before.
Yeah, if you're like a 28-year-old dude and you're on here, welcome.
Well-
Yeah, and yeah, we're just as hot. Check us out on YouTube.
Yeah.
Kristin and I didn't know each other in Nebraska.
Right.
We
Right.
met out here thanks to this lady.
right.
Do you
Which is-
remember that?
Yes, but you know what's really funny is I get socially awkward. So,
Really?
to introduce people, I was like, she's from Nebraska. And she's from Nebraska.
That's why we
I
get
need
along
to
so
introduce
well.
these women from Nebraska, which is the most
Random.
like not social way to introduce
Jenny,
people.
it's the
No,
most
it's the
genius-
Nebraska.
That is all anybody, because if you say I'm from Nebraska, you go, whereabouts? What's your family name? Like you.
And then in 15
didn't know
seconds,
that,
you know
though.
a cousin. Are you kidding? You're from Texas. That's a big state.
That's
We're
a
from
whole
Nebraska.
country.
We literally unpacked like 4 names.
I
And
know.
within 2 seconds, we found out my college roommate was your best friend in high school.
Yeah.
And that you waited tables with my friend from Central City.
Yeah.
And then when you were at my wedding, you knew more people than I did.
I made out with 20% of her city that she's
Yeah,
from
well,
while I was.
And that's not even saying anything
No.
negative because my town is so small. That means you made out with like 3 people.
Yeah.
That says a lot about Nebraska because that was not what I thought you guys would click over. Even though I was like, oh, they're from Nebraska.
Yeah.
That's and I was like, oh, they're both funny. You two are like
Yeah.
2 of my favorite people in comedy. And I was like, oh, they're really funny. They should meet. And then Nebraska, they're from
God,
Nebraska.
we're skipping everything, Kristin. Let's get better. Okay, because I
What am I
met Jenny.
doing wrong?
I met Jenny from Second City.
Yes.
Okay, is that how you two met?
I can't remember.
We did. And you know
In
what?
Los Angeles. We
In
all
Los Angeles.
ended up in Los Angeles.
And we were going to write a show together.
Didn't
and
we?
you and I performed a show together. Both didn't happen, which is why you guys are together. You're welcome, guys.
Yeah, there we go. Full circle moment.
Well,
Here's
also, you guys came to a show that I was doing.
yes.
I remember Ruben was in it. You were doing it too.
Which
Right?
show?
I think
Was that
we
the-
went.
Ruben
I went to see Jenny and Ruben in a show, and you were
Oh,
in that
yes.
show, and you were the only person in the cast I did not know. And then after that's when we had beers in the parking
No.
lot, and you introduced the 2 of us. Yeah, I'm
Ruben
100%
wasn't
sure.
in the yacht club.
Nope, that's not the night. That's not the show.
That
It
was the
was-
show we did together.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I saw Focus. You guys gave free beer. What was I supposed to do? I've been to a lot of my
You
friends'
guys-
improv shows, and they all have really dumb
Hold
names,
on.
like
Really dumb.
Yes, and
I
Yesinopolis.
know. Our origin story just changed.
Our origin
Hold
story is
on.
real
No, but you
blurry.
brought in other people. I think
We
it was
always
just
brought people
No,
'cause
no.
I'm a
I did do a show
motherfucker.
with Ruben, and
Yeah, we all.
I did
'cause
a show with.
This is what was
Jen,
so weird
but
is
it was separate.
I knew everyone around Kristin as
Yeah.
though I was cookie cuttering around
Yeah.
her
Yeah, that
and
is
not
weird.
her.
Yes, I don't know if I remember all the details, but I remember the most important things, which was beers after your show. I'm
Yeah.
sure your
It's
show
like
was
the
great.
stars were like, let's keep them apart until they're
Yeah, 'cause
ready.
we didn't wanna get
because it's gonna
arrested too soon.
explode.
Yeah.
Okay, yacht
friendship.
club. Oh man, that was so fun.
It was fun.
I remember it being a really funny show for what it's worth.
I think that
remember it
was
being
our
a very
one really funny show.
Wow.
I mean, we did, but there were moments.
And then we all
Oh,
just
man.
became really good friends. I mean, we
Yeah.
were all, you had already established a friendship, but we were like becoming really good friends and we were like writing together. And I remember Jenny was like, Jenny is one of those people we talk about who like has an idea and then she just systematically gets it done. You're just a very productive
She's
person.
the
I
You're
don't know
like,
if that's true.
McAdams
she's
of
the Dashiell McAdams. She's the Dashiell and Finn mixed into one. She
Yeah.
actually gets shit done. And like you do, you're like, but you're not like, you don't complain. You're like, this is going to be a big event and
Yeah.
I'm going to have to take this off in bite-sized pieces, like one step at a time, which is also a way to like foreshadow all the things that you've been dealing with and you do it with such grace. But I remember you were like, I wrote a short film and my husband is shooting it and I need someone to play the girl in the lobby who gets stabbed in the throat with a pen. And you would have thought somebody gave me my like Oscar moment. I was like, I am not only honored, I
Jenny is laughing.
will
I cannot.
I will be your lady of the pen. And literally, I remember that you started, we couldn't do the take because
Footage
I
or
was
it
supposed
didn't happen.
well,
I
first
need
of
to
all,
see
I was
this.
supposed to be, I think I was supposed to be seriously punctured in the throat, but I kept making it funny. So
Yes,
I had,
oh my God.
do you remember this? I had this pen sticking out of my throat and something was to happen. Like AJ like went like this. So I think whatever happened, like shoved me in the throat. So he would clap his hands and I was supposed to have a reaction. So I jumped up and the pen was sticking out of my throat. And then I just like fainted like way too big for it to like, and Jenny got a case of the giggles and we couldn't recover. AJ was like, honestly, Jenny, if you guys don't stop laughing, we cannot get this take. So I just kept like
I think
doing
I
weird,
left the room.
yeah, because I kept doing weird noises like, oh. Like,
She's the
Yes.
worst. She's the worst person to get the giggles with too because she can't rein it in, and
I
then
can't
just
either,
like
yeah.
makes it.
I can't either. It's horrible.
that was like really, I just remember that being, I was also really impressed that you like saw it through, and I was also upset with myself that I really fucked it up.
I think that was like one of those 48-hour film festivals because we used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
And so we only had like 48 hours to like write, shoot,
You're
edit.
like, Kristen's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Like she'll show up. I did. I was like, I've got 14 costumes and I've got 4 different ideas
You were
for
so
pens.
excited.
I had latex on my neck. I was like, I've done a latex test. I think this.
I do remember that.
You I'm a dork.
Yes.
I'm a dork.
You're
about
like, I know how to work with latex.
Anyway, that was one of my very earliest memories with Jenny. Also, I have the same. Here's the thing. I'm such an a-hole because Jen also wrote a short film, and she was like, I need people to be background or I need extras for this shoot.
No,
and I was like,
Aunt Linda.
when she goes, I go, I'll do it. And Jen was like, no, you can't. I don't want you to be, you don't know. Like, you're doing stuff like you don't. I was like, I want to be an extra in your short film. If you need people, I will be there. So then when I got there, Jen and some of the other people, they were like, well, let's throw her in as Aunt Linda and make her weird. And I was like, done. And they were like, we just want you to eat mashed potatoes in a weird way. And
real
I was like,
seductively. This is why, like,
we're a good team because of that.
When I did that short, and she was like, no, I absolutely want to do it. I just want to be busy and doing stuff and working. I was like, well, shit, you want to work with people that get stuff done and that are like going to work as hard as you. We say all the time, like, this couldn't work unless we worked as hard as each other do, you know? Because otherwise it would be, you'd be mad at each other like
one
all the
person's
time.
carrying all the weight. You can't do that.
So my story is Jenny was like, hey, I wrote a pilot and I've rented an entire trailer park in order for us to shoot this in. So AJ and I are going to come pick you up just to make sure you show up. I'm pretty sure.
And we did.
And we did
shot
it.
a pilot.
Yeah, we did. Over like 3 days.
Over
right?
3 days in a trailer park. And I don't even remember the town, but it was like 2 hours away.
Yeah, it was like 2 hours away.
How long ago was this?
A lake.
Like 15 years?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
15 years.
Guys, by 15, we mean.
By 5 years.
Yeah,
20,
we were
something like that.
22. Oh my
Whatever
God.
the math is that
Barely.
makes me 38.
Exactly.
That
But
would be good.
that pilot was hilarious.
It was
because
super hilarious.
it was so windy.
I
It was so windy.
Yeah.
We could barely walk at times. And so we couldn't shoot anything outside because you couldn't hear sound.
Yeah.
And so we had to like rewrite everything. And
You know, though, but don't you think that's like one of the cool things? Like, if you are someone who has got up and moved to LA and you're from Texas or you're from Nebraska or you're from anywhere else, and you have the love and the idea of like making movies or being a part of it in some way, it's like so magical. And when you first get here, everything is so like bare bones. Like you don't have a budget. You don't have like an actual crew. You have your friend holding the light until they're going to be an actor in the shot. And it's such a lovely time of being like young and like not giving a shit and just getting out and making stuff. I thought it was like kind of the most magical time of being in LA.
you know what? And getting out and making stuff that isn't just posted all over social. Now I know
Right.
everything's on social. Social's great.
Yeah.
But it's
It
weird,
has
it's
its thing,
different,
but
right?
yeah, we learned a lot
Yes.
before. Like all our
Yeah.
mistakes aren't
You're
out
creating
on social.
things that maybe nobody will see, but you're doing it just because you love it. You want to
Yeah.
be doing it. You want to be working.
and
you
not
want to be
like, I'm going to
creating.
get viral.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a question that I have for you. I'm already jumping to questions
Okay,
because,
Go.
but I want to go back to when we first met and talk about clothing swaps. But
Oh my
we'll
God.
get to that later.
Oh, I got to make a note about that because I really.
But
Okay.
so Jenny moved to Connecticut. And my husband always says, he goes, you know what's so great about living in Los Angeles? Not that other places aren't like this, but nobody gives a shit what you wear. Nobody cares like what your real quote unquote job is. Like everybody
Wait,
knows
in
you
LA or in other places?
in LA. Like
Yeah.
because it's like people are creative. My husband always says like he's like, I dress like a toddler. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm just Adidas shorts and a jacket all the
But
time.
he
you know?
feels like if he lived in Connecticut or somewhere else, there would be a different expectation.
So I want to know what
Okay.
feels different. Does it feel different to
Oh,
be
that's
there?
a great question.
Well, let's see. It doesn't feel different.
You feel like it's like grown up land. You moved
I
to
know,
like grown up
I
land.
did.
we did a show out by you.
Yes, it is
But I
very
was
grown
like,
up.
Damn, this is nice over here.
Yeah,
It is nice.
Yeah.
It is very grown up land. I don't know. It's colder, so you can't really wear Adidas shorts.
That
you
wouldn't
know,
stop him.
like you can't wear clothes like that. You actually have to wear clothes to
But
cover
what is
you.
the big differences that you
Yeah.
you feel, good or bad, going from now you've gone from Texas to LA. You were in LA how long?
22
22
years.
Yeah.
years. That's a long
Was
time.
it
Yeah.
culture shock when you
Listen
went
to us. We're like,
A
answer
little bit.
questions.
But we moved like during the whole COVID
Yeah.
pandemic, and so I mean, everything was a shock, and then everything was peaceful. You know, like it was
Yeah.
a shock to move across the country, but when we found our house and found the town and everything we wanted in our move, it was peaceful. It was like, yes, we're supposed to be here.
Oh, good.
You
that's
know, like,
nice.
that makes me so
I
glad.
think, like, I mean, I haven't really focused on like what people are wearing.
Jen's like, what's the clothing
And not that
requirement?
I know you
I
don't
should
mean it like that. But
I don't mean it like it's
I
just
gotta take this off. I know I'm gonna be hot as in color, hot as in reflection. Can I
for
put it
those
like
of you
this?
watching the YouTube,
Pin now.
Kristen's taking off her sweater. No, I mean people don't care what you wear in terms of like I mean in some ways people care more like runway sort of stuff, but it's like you go to a meeting and you're not wearing like a suit and tie.
Yeah, LA's very casual.
You feel less grown up in a way, you know.
there is more of that, but also we kind of live in the woods. Like
that's
we're
nice.
in like a small town, and it's not like a super preppy small town. It's a nice little town,
Oh,
but
it's
I
so
think there's
pretty.
like different towns that would be true. Like everybody's very, wearing designer, et cetera,
Oh,
et cetera. That's just not the town we're in.
Yeah,
It's very
'cause
chill.
It is. I do know there. It's like this town's like super like
Yeah,
it's a hard school to go
super
to, and then the
snooty.
next one over here is like down to earth.
Yes,
kinda.
and we're in the down to earth town.
good.
And
Is
we
it
like it.
haunted at all? Because
Haunted.
that wasn't one
Ugh.
of my questions. It's just
No,
I'd
it's
rather
so
know about the
funny
Korean
because the
day spa
trees
you
do
went to.
feel haunted.
that's the woods.
Like
haunted.
I
Don't
have
think they
taken so
are.
many pictures of trees because one, it's beautiful and it's
Yeah.
getting a little obsessive. I'm like, oh, look, a tree
Yeah.
for
Yes.
no reason, but they can get creepy.
Yeah.
And in like a cool way, but like
Yeah.
there's a creepy vibe. I understand.
I do think there's like a weird, like maybe there was a war fought there. Maybe like a revolutionary battle was
There's a
fought there.
cemetery at the
See?
end of our
Don't
street,
look at me like
and
that,
it's
Kristen.
I'm not. I'm
revolutionary.
just trying to stay interested.
Am I psychic?
It was like the tombstones are like from 17.
Oh my gosh, that's
Hundred.
cool.
See?
That's
They're like
cool.
broken off.
Yeah.
Like you don't see it from
They're
the
just-
road. You
yeah.
don't see it in our neighborhood,
Yeah.
but it's at the end of the street. You have
They
to
don't
like
know that
walk
the
through the
war's over
woods,
yet,
and there's
Jenny.
this little
you gotta
cemetery.
Tell them the war's over. Go home, guys.
And someone puts the war's over, guys. But someone puts those little flags with like the 13 colony star.
That's so
Is
nice.
that the time? I mean, I
You're
don't
like, I don't know if that's the right flag.
Well, yeah.
someone goes in there and does those
Yeah,
flags.
they came after. Yeah. Right? They were
There's just different flags in there.
whatever. It's nice.
Different
It's nice
stars.
that somebody does that.
There's a
you
flag
know?
and stars. It's not the one that matches who we have now.
It says like "Happy Bachelorette Party."
Yeah,
It's just a big
It's
penis.
nice to be thought of, you guys.
There's some
Isn't it?
penis
No matter how-
straws in the
no matter
ground.
if you died 300 years ago, it's so nice to be thought
It's
of.
still nice to be invited.
Yeah.
Even if you are a ghost.
That's right.
And you've been dead for a long time, it's nice to know you're still invited
Yeah.
to the party.
But yes to the scariness. I
Okay,
agree.
yeah, that's what I love about like back east is everything has like a history.
and there's
Yes.
seasons. I do,
Yeah.
even though I say
Oh,
that,
yeah.
but then I went back to Nebraska and it was 18 degrees and I was like, get me the F out of here. I can't get out of here fast enough. But East Coast
Yeah.
cold is different. It doesn't feel like as bone chilling.
No. It's pretty bone
Is
chilling.
it?
Yeah, and we didn't have a lot of snow this year. And my
Oh my
son
God.
said to me, goes, I like the cold, but only the cold when it snows. This is not what I like.
Yes.
And I was like, oh,
It's like,
all right.
I've got notes.
That's a
I've got
really
notes
good
on this
point.
weather.
It's like, we left California, porque?
Hey, Mother Nature, it's not when it melts either, because that's super
Oh, it's
depressing.
gross.
Yeah, white, fluffy.
You just like the day of snow. That's what
Yeah.
everybody really likes because the next day it looks like a mess. It's
the
like
magical
all-
snow.
The magical
Yes.
snow. You want the day of stuff, the stuff you like take a picture of, and then everyone's like, "Oh my god, I miss
The
it."
stuff you can snort.
Yeah. And
I'm just kidding.
So back to our
back
party
to
days.
our party
This
days.
is
I'm
why-
gonna
so
make a note.
Do you remember when we used to do?
cocaine?
I'm like, we never did cocaine.
No, we literally never did cocaine.
Never.
I did not
I'm
have
gonna-
that kind of money because I might have, but I no.
Me too.
We used
Thank
to
God I
do-
was broke.
I'd
We
like
used to
to
have-
change the subject
I
abruptly.
know.
Oh, God.
Somebody just
We're
got
gonna
excited.
take this out. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
No,
It just made me want to read a lot.
Jenny and I, we used to have these Sunday afternoon every once in a while clothing swaps where you
Oh my
were
God.
wearing like
I went.
I know.
Oh.
I'm not saying you didn't
No,
go, but
I'm gonna remind you of a time that I did go when I was the world's biggest a-hole.
Oh,
Do you
I
guys
don't
remember
remember.
when
Do you guys
Jen-
know what
okay,
it is?
yeah,
Okay,
tell
so,
me what a clothing
so
swap
you
is.
take clothes just that you're not wearing anymore, more
Right.
like your
Nice
disposable
stuff.
wardrobe, where you're just like, I'm kind of done with it. And
Yeah.
you could get it back if you wanted it,
Yeah.
but you bring it and see who, and they do the same with you. So then you end up with all these new fun clothes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jenny
It
tells
has.
me I'm doing a clothing swap, and I'm like, that sounds awesome. Then I went to her house, and I was like, I forgot clothes.
I
You didn't really
I didn't
understand.
read
Did you
the
understand?
email.
I understood.
Oh.
I probably didn't finish the email, but I just showed up, and I was like, I think I was supposed to bring something. Oh,
Why does
right, a
everybody
bag
have
of
these
clothes.
huge
So
bags of
I was
clothes?
just the a-hole that walked out with all the clothes.
I do remember that. You did
And
walk out with a lot.
and didn't swap any. They just gave them to me because they felt bad. You gave me cowboy boots.
I
I
do
basically
remember
showed
that.
up naked, and I was like, I think you guys said I was going to get free clothes, and they're like, you're
Wait.
supposed to. Yeah.
Wait,
You
my
know, I-
blue cowboy boots, are those from you?
No, I didn't have blue.
Oh,
but
okay.
that sounds amazing. I
They're-
wish they were from me.
Were they
They're
from
like
a swap?
turquoise. I think so.
No, I had black ones. Did you take my
Yeah, you
black
gave me
ones
those.
or
No,
the
you-
brown ones that were
Black
braided?
ones.
I
All
think
right.
you
And
have-
a dress
what
and a
size
hat.
You're 8.5.
What? What?
Your shoe size.
Oh, 8.
8? Okay, I thought you were a little bit bigger foot than me. Kristen's
6.5.
size
6.5.
because of her toe.
7 because
Do you know
of
her toe? Have you seen her toe?
No, but I think you took my 7.5s.
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she will because that's what she wears.
It does not, Jen.
Yours
They
is
are big.
even.
I have to wear double socks.
Tony, have you
I've
seen
got
her
a long toe
Okay.
How do you have such small feet?
for being for
being
my-
a giant.
My feet, my ass
How do you
don't match.
How
I
do you
don't know.
stand?
I don't know. I have small feet. My people have small feet and weird ears.
How do
It's
you
just weird.
balance?
I don't know. I don't. In case you haven't
Because
noticed,
she's got that one prehensile toe that sticks out.
It's my
She
anchor.
goes, my
It's your anchor.
yeah, digs
It's your
in.
claw.
She looks like a parakeet.
Just like
She'll say, she's like, I wear a 6.5, but my middle toe is a
so
7.5.
long. It makes it a 7. It's hard to find shoes that fit, Jen. My
it's not hard.
instep
That's
isn't
that's
in
your
the
size.
It is
Size. It's
not.
7.
You guys are
That's
not
your
getting
size.
it.
We're not getting a little bit, but
Yeah, you know,
that
I
is
know.
your
I
size.
just, sometimes I need help on that one.
Can I go back to the clothing swap? I remember
Yes.
that one because
The what?
The
Clothing
clothing swap where you walked out with a lot of stuff. Because I remember we're like, you go around in a circle, everybody gets a chance if someone wants it. And I
Yeah.
do remember you kept going, me, I want that. And at one point, 2 people wanted it. I
If
can't remember.
nobody
who.
was saying they wanted it.
And I made the other person get it. I was like, Kristen, she gets it
That's
because
the-
you've
okay.
taken a lot.
You know what?
I remember.
I just wanted to take the stuff. I wasn't going to show up and go home empty-handed just because I did it wrong.
It
Well,
wasn't a bad thing. It was just funny.
It was a terrible thing. I felt
Jenny
like a
and I would
dickhead.
be like this, though. We'd be like, okay, I have this square dance outfit. Anybody? And Jenny would be like, I'm like, I know you want it. Just take the square dance outfit. And she would do the same thing. She's like, a sequin top hat.
I know.
Anybody?
You and
nobody
I would
wanted
bring
it.
the
I'd be like, I
randoms.
don't want to be rude, but I wanted to.
And I was like, I'll take the-
also take that.
I'll take the leftovers.
And yes, I'll wear it.
Yeah, I will absolutely wear
I have a
this.
sequin tube top. It has a matching tutu. Who? Yeah.
Speaking of, there's for some reason I borrowed I needed a dress from you, and because you're from Texas, and were you in a sorority?
Yes.
You had a million of these like formal dresses.
Yes.
But I don't remember what I had to wear it for. But I was like, I need something that's like, I don't know if I was shooting something.
I don't remember
but
either, but I
you
brought them all
gave me
over.
like 14 dresses.
Wow.
And they were all like
80s prom.
like stuff. Like
Yeah.
like one was like and I
From
was like,
Deb.
oh
Please tell me.
God.
No, they're probably nice.
They
Did
were
you have a
pretty
Deb
nice.
where you're from?
No.
What's that?
No, we
What's
didn't.
that?
A
Deb?
debutante?
A Deb?
Like it's like go
There's
ahead.
a store called Deb. Is that what it's short
Oh,
for?
I thought you meant
Debutante.
debutante.
Oh, no.
Like I was like,
That
I wasn't
is-
a debutante.
No, somebody's gonna
Jen
know
feels
what a
very
Deb
robbed
is.
that she didn't get to have a debutante ball because we were in Nebraska.
We had a prom
Maybe that's why you had a
at
store.
the Stockyards Plaza.
Right. We had it in our
Oh,
gym.
did you really?
Yeah, there was a store called DEB, and it was like Forever 21, but cheap. No, like yeah, yeah. I know
Like free?
they both like went back. Yes, it was basically free. It was like they would have these sale rounders, and it would be like 50-cent stuff. when
No
people are done.
way.
That's
Yeah.
a dream when you don't have
Oh
money.
my God! Somebody chime in if you had a Deb in your mall. It was like a huge store that was just
Never
like
heard of it.
full. It was like Forever 21. It was all like
Oh my God.
disposable stuff, but you get your prom dresses there. And I just have a bunch, and there before people were.
I had a
in
local
Saturday.
lady make my prom dress.
No,
and
my
it was
grandmother made
terrible.
them all. Or my mom. Yeah.
Kristen, you better take good care of those dresses.
I don't remember. I
No, they
probably
were so
stole
old.
it. And then you have how many siblings do you have?
I just have one.
You have one sister, but she has like 4 kids?
Yeah, she has 4 girls.
And might I just say one of them, or maybe all of them, Jenny's like, she always underplays everything. She's like, yeah, my niece is, playing volleyball. And I'm like, I played volleyball. And then she's like,
Oh.
for UT or something? Who's she playing
No,
for?
she's playing. She is playing for University of South Carolina. She's beach volleyball, a
And
scholarship. Like, she's great.
Me playing on a beer league at P.O. Pears in Lincoln is very different
A
than
double.
Jenny's niece, who is like 7 feet tall and an Amazon. Literally, like, she showed a picture and she's wearing those little trunks, the little underpant things,
yep. Oh,
and the
gosh.
like actual jersey. And I she
She's
actually
a real
plays
player. Yeah.
volleyball. She is
Yeah.
like shredded. I was like, how do you have a person like this in your family?
That's
I don't know. It's a
And
good
I'm
question. Or maybe good genes. You don't know.
You guys are all
Yeah,
tall
no,
and
you
really
look
pretty
like
though.
you
And
could
you guys,
spike a ball.
but this girl, I was like, she looks like a freaking superhero.
Yeah, she
you
does.
just played it down. I would be bragging about that everywhere.
Okay, so let's break this down. Your aunt to 4.
No, well, I'm an aunt to 8, but my sister
Okay,
has 4.
4, and then
AJ's brothers, that side of the family, each family has 2.
okay.
He
Okay.
has 2 brothers. They each have
Oh,
2
that's
kids.
right.
She's also a rockin' mom. So go
Uh-huh.
into your ages.
Magnolia is 12 and Graydon is 6, turning 7 in 2 weeks.
That's crazy to me.
You guys remember his 2-year-old birthday party? Where it was like a movie night and we put mattresses on the floor.
Oh my God, it was so fun. You guys had that little, at your house.
At my house.
The house that you lived in before you moved, right?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
had the like camellia trees and stuff.
Uh-huh.
It was such a heavenly house.
It was
Yeah,
lovely.
We spent many a swim party over there because we didn't have a pool. So Jenny was like, you want to come over and swim? And I was like, God, yes, please. Please let my children just do something. Please let them
They
swim.
haven't bathed all week.
Yeah, this is
Perfect.
They're ready.
Yeah.
And then Finn would walk around with his shorts like down past his crack. That's like his like signature like clothing attire. It was always that his swimming trunks were like falling off.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
I
half
like
the
a good
time.
board
Or
short.
did you buy him the wrong size?
Yeah,
Like, what's
probably.
happening?
I got him at a clothing swap.
Okay, perfect.
I told him show up with nothing and
A
you'll
kid
walk
swap.
out
A
with
kid
everything.
swap would be
kid
so
swap.
Then
smart.
Dash got him. I know. Which, I mean, that's what's the only bad thing about you living far away is now I finally have boys' clothes.
Oh,
I
I know.
know.
We just stopped wearing Dashiell's clothes. Graydon just stopped wearing Dashiell's clothes
I
because
love that.
I think it was up to size 5 is what you had given us, and so we just stopped.
Well, I'm going to chuck him in one of those if it fits it ships boxes now because we don't have somebody to give his to now.
Oh, we'll love them.
Okay, I'm going to
Would
send
love
them to
them.
you. Okay.
Okay. Well, now
Okay, what?
we want to talk about Maggie.
Can we talk about
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you should introduce all of this.
Okay, so 18 months
Yes.
around then is when we started noticing some things that were going on. And I mean, I can break it down. I guess she was a little late crawling, but not much late. Like she crawled at 10 months.
Right.
And it
That's
like,
not
yeah,
delayed.
it's
That's
not
like-
even delayed. So it was like that cusp of like, okay, she should be doing this, but it'll happen soon. And that's how all her milestones went. Like
Yeah.
she should be doing this soon, and then it would happen. So doctors, nobody thought it was a problem
Yeah.
until about like 18 months. And then
Is that when your gut started going,
it wasn't even, I guess my
Yeah.
gut, but she had like all these sensory problems. And all of a sudden we couldn't go into like a restaurant. We couldn't go
Yeah.
into places because it was
Wow.
just overload. She would be
Oh.
screaming and we were like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot that.
No,
at the
that's okay.
end.
No.
I'm leaning into you and forgetting there's a microphone.
I know. I keep.
And this
I know.
is
We're
it.
just. Yeah.
Tony's looking at us like, microphones. Okay.
So after about a year of her not hitting milestones anymore, and the sensory kind of just took over. That was
Yeah.
like her big thing.
Yeah.
Like the sensory input, all of that.
Right.
She started having GI issues and we got blood work done, and the developmental pediatrician didn't know what to do, so she just ran all the
All
tests,
of them.
Okay.
and it came back with Rett syndrome, which was not what was expected because
Right.
she didn't have those symptoms at the time. But
Oh, wow.
Can you
That is what
define
she
what
has.
Rett is?
okay,
Can you say what
so
it is?
Rett syndrome is a neurological disorder. Because of I don't know, I'm not really
Yeah.
good at the science
No,
part.
that's
but
What are you
this-
talking about?
yeah,
You're
I know.
that I call bullshit on that.
I know.
Like this woman talks to me and I'm like, you gotta slow down.
Those
That's
are
it.
big words.
The
Those are big
science,
words. Yeah.
I do not understand what you just said, but
There's
you
a lot
do,
to it. I won't
but
get
you
into
can
the
simplify
science.
it
Yeah,
for
Well, let's
people
just
like
say
me.
no assholes are going to fact check what you know about your daughter's health
Yeah.
here.
Okay. Okay, perfect. She has Rett syndrome. It's a neurological disorder. In short, it's called the use it or lose it. If you don't use a skill, you lose the skill.
Ugh.
That is one end of the disorder. The other is not gaining the skill in the first place.
Okay.
So Maggie was developing and gaining,
Yeah.
although late. She still was, and she was still progressing.
Yeah.
So she was more in the use it or lose it range. Like
Right.
if we didn't get her into therapy and really push her, she
You're
could
talking
lose
about simple
skills.
things like if she didn't use her hands, she
Yes.
could not use her hands.
Yes.
If she didn't use her legs, she could not walk.
Right.
Like in order to maintain all of that usability,
Every
she had
skill.
to constantly.
Right. So we
do
had
it.
to like really dive into therapy and push her. And
Yeah.
if she didn't learn to do the stairs, or if she already did the stairs and we didn't do the stairs or do the stairs, walk the stairs
Right.
up and down, she would lose that skill. So it's everything like picking up a fork to use it. Like if we didn't have her do that, she would lose that skill. So it was this very overwhelming
Yeah, scary.
diagnosis.
Scary.
And on top of the use it or lose it, there's all sorts of issues. Like she can have seizures, which we all know she does now.
Yeah.
Breathing issues, which we all know she does
Yeah.
now. Scoliosis, she does not have, but a lot do. I mean, there's just a whole list of symptoms that Maggie doesn't have, and then there's a list that she does. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a very overwhelming disorder. It's very complex. One of the things I like to say about individuals with Rett syndrome, what people don't realize is they're very complex
Yeah.
in the sense of they're very smart.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I would say years back, they probably didn't get the right education. They didn't have the opportunity to communicate because
Right.
nonverbal.
Yes,
That's the big one that I did not mention. Maggie did speak, and then she did lose her speech.
Yeah.
So she uses an
Ugh.
eye gaze technology computer to speak.
But she also, I appreciate, has attitude at times, and,
And
that makes
she's-
me feel
Yeah.
that makes me feel really warmed to know that even your kid gives you attitude. Like
My
she's like not
kid
funny.
spelled FCK the other day, and
Ooh, I feel seen. I feel seen.
I was like, Magnolia, are you spelling what I think you're spelling?
Mhm.
And she looked at me because if she looks at me, it's yes. If she looks away, it's no. And she just stared at me, and I was like, "You, how do you
Part of
react
me's
to
like,
that?"
get it, girl. You gotta.
Yeah.
I mean, not
in
to
my
your
head,
mom though.
I will. And at me, I was like, "Yes,
I know.
Yeah.
That's
yes."
There's
I
probably
was
a
so
two-part-
thrilled.
It's probably a two-parter. You're like, fine, you're directing your anger and shittiness towards me, but you're directing anger and shittiness. That's
Yeah.
great.
You're directing it.
And
you
I
were,
get it.
honestly, and that's kind of like
You
when she
spelled
spells
it.
on the computer.
Yeah.
Like it is like you kind of have to piecemeal the
Yeah.
words sometimes. And I was just like, Magnolia, thank God.
Yeah.
Yes, but no.
Yeah, I feel like that technology, it surprises me that it's not more advanced than it is with the advent of freaking video games. Like, it feels to me like that should be something that, and I know that you see all of this stuff. You see like advancements and things that help
Yes.
her. You get to be you're part of what's the Rett syndrome thing that we went to where I
Oh.
drank?
She's with a group of a bunch of badass.
Oh, yes,
Right.
the Rett
Friends.
Syndrome Research Trust and the
Right.
Rett Gala in LA.
We went to it.
I
I-
might have had a lot of.
Here's what I remember
You know,
We
about
had
that.
a lovely time.
They're like, here's some free booze, and they really picked us out of the crowd, and were like, these two
We
ladies.
were so easy.
Yeah.
We just kept putting our paddles up. We were
Put
like,
your
give more
shoes
money.
back on, ma'am.
We walked out with a Justin Verlander jersey that I'm embarrassed to tell you how much we've paid for it.
I have a picture of Colin in that jersey
Oh,
with
see.
some other guy in another jersey.
Okay.
holding signed
Who's
basketballs,
white.
and I was like, stop buying.
Colin might have had a few cocktails also. We're not gonna.
We were just like, credit cards go a long way when you want to buy shit.
Well, man,
and
like
we just-
it's a heavy night, you know.
It's a heavy night.
but they do a good job of it being a celebration and of trying to inspire a cure or to use it towards research. I have to say, because it is.
So here's the thing, like with Rett syndrome, with most diseases, disorders that people are trying to get researched or finding a cure or treatment for, there are big foundations, there are grants, there are, big donors if it's a well-known disorder, disease, whatever that is. Rett is not well-known. It is a rare disorder. And so, honestly, it is fundraised by the families that have it, which is heartbreaking because it is a monster of a disorder. And it is fundraised by family and their friends. And it's really hard to do. And so, we're thankful, obviously, for friends that step up. You guys, because it's hard.
As an outsider for Jen and I think the thing, and we've seen this with so many moms, and the thing that I think we always like marvel at, but we're not surprised by it, but it's like, it's really incredible, is like when something like this is handed to you and you're dealt this situation, you could crumble and everyone would understand. But you didn't. I mean, you did and you have.
I did. But said, not in public.
You go, I got to get to work. And that's what I think moms that have to, whatever it is you're dealing with, but especially if it's somebody, am I saying it right? If it's somebody with needs or complexities or any of those. Like we were at a show one time, I remember when we were in Arizona and there was an entire group of moms that had kids with severe needs. So like they were all dealing with feeding tubes. They were all dealing with like administering medicine. Like they all became nurses for their kids, right? And so they were at a show together and we did mom bags and I pulled out tubing. And I remember being like, and like I'm
so glad you did.
I did. I pulled it out and I was like I started to get goosebumps because I was like, oh God, how do I make a joke about this? And so then I remember like I looked at Jen and I was sort of like, I don't want to tread on this. But I remember also feeling like, but this mom does want me to tread on this. Like they thought it was hilarious. They were heckling us with jokes about the tubing because they were like, oh my God, that's the same one my son uses for his, and he's like hates his feeding tube. And I was like, fuck, man, like the mom squad that you have that gets you through these situations, like speaks your language. They know how you feel. They see you. And the people that are like one step outside of that maybe don't have a kid with Rett or a kid with severe needs of some sort, we just want to help. We want to be there. And like, you hope that you're just doing the right thing by everybody.
I was useless. I thought it was for like a tiny beer bong or something.
That's what we said. We ended up saying like, this is how we shoot beers in college. Jen came in for the swoop because I was like, I just remember feeling bad. And then I was like, that's not what this...
It's not what this is about.
Not what this is about. It's not what the show is about. It's also not what 10 ladies who have kids that are all... are sitting around going, let's all... link arms and sob. There's a life out there.
It's funny you say that. I think that's like a societal problem.
Right.
And I think that's where we have like a societal problem about like kids with disabilities and how to include them.
Right.
But that like filters up through parents too. Like it's because we don't all know exactly how to, nobody wants to say anything wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's almost.
But sometimes it's just like, look, it's lighthearted. Just say it.
I learned this thing about grief, and it might not be that far away from what you do feel if you have a child with those kinds of needs or those kinds of issues happening, is that people want to act like if they don't mention it, you're not hurting, or like they'll hurt your feelings if they bring it up. But maybe it feels good to be seen or somebody to acknowledge that, like, or to ask, like, I would always ask, like, what do we need to do?
Yeah, I think that is a common misnomer. And I think that you're right on. Not saying anything is worse
than just...
Because I do think, like, I would get in my head and be like, no one cares. I haven't talked to so-and-so or I haven't talked to so-and-so. And it's really like, well, one, we're all going through life. Parenting is hard in general. you know, and obviously it's beautiful, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, we
But-
say
you don't
that
need to
shit
say
for
that
a
on this
different
show.
podcast.
Okay.
But you know, and parenting a special needs child is different.
Yeah.
And like Oprah said, when you know, you know. And unless you're doing it, you don't know how hard it is. And we also don't know how to reach out to each other all the time. And I think sometimes just going, oh, I see you. And I know it sounds generic of people being like, I see you, but it's true. And not even like, how are you? Just like, hey, just thinking of you. And that's it.
You're a good example of what makes women like
badasses.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, and you go in and do what you need to do with grace and cool and have drinks and make things funny. And I think it's really awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, ladies.
Like this is a thing. This is going to be my hot flash.
Hot flash, hot flash. Hot flash.
Jenny for today.
Hot flash. We're not going to talk about real hot guys?
Oh, well, we can.
Okay.
But I just remember this thing that you did that was so cool and so wonderful. Even everything that was going on with Baggy. So Dash was younger. Dash is what, 3 years younger?
Yes.
So it might have been like right after she was diagnosed. But he was, no, she would have been a lot older because he was speech delayed.
Okay.
And do you remember? I was losing my mind.
Yes.
And nobody in the world was more understanding than you. So it ended up not being a thing. But like he had to go through all the therapy and stuff like that because he did say hi when he would say hi and mom and dad. And then he just stopped talking because I was just handing him everything. So he like sort of made the decision I'm not going to talk as like a firstborn thing.
Which is very common.
Super common. But I was super worried about it because the pediatrician basically said, oh, let's worry about this. Let's have all these like meetings with specialists. And you were so good and so understanding and like just made me feel so much better about it. And I also felt like people were like, this is ridiculous. Mom's like too worried about stuff, you know?
Yeah, I do remember that time because I remember it's like hard because you want to tell a parent not to worry, but at the same time you're like, no, take the steps because
Why not?
I think what I told you was do the steps because if there's a problem, then you're already doing therapy. If there's not, then look at that.
Yeah.
You're fine. We're hugging for anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just side hugging.
I'm side hugging. I'm so sweaty.
Thank you for being our first guest.
Oh,
Thank you
welcome.
for being
You were
our
great.
friend.
You were great.
You're amazing. Thank you for being the amazing mom that you are and friend that you are. And
wow, you're really laying it on thick. I know.
You know
I've
what?
heard these compliments.
Jenny,
from
I
you.
feel heard. I feel like you listen to what I say. I feel like you're not going to make fun of me if I talk about ghosts and all that matters. It all matters.
I
Jenny.
get it. Connecticut is kind of scary.
creepy.
I was
You
gonna say
gotta
creepy.
get
I was
your
like,
kid from school, and my kid's getting dropped off in a basketball.
All right.
Okay.
So look for the Rett link if you would like to donate. We will post it on the podcast page.
Subscribe to the letter. There's a lot of advancements that have been made recently, which is very exciting. So
We could be
will
close.
link all of it.
Yep.
And it's, you know, if we can solve one, we can solve many.
That's right.
We learn from one.
That's right.
We solve many. So I think we
It's our
podcasted. Now let's go get my kid.